What's going on, y'all? Minutes with Mellon. Try to take long videos and make them a little bit shorter. So let's do this week's fucked up politics. We're just gonna burrow in deep right away. So we got it ready. Let's burrow. That's so stupid. So yeah, where are we gonna start? Okay, yeah, this one. So the debate, it was rigged. Anybody could fucking see that. But
here we go. Yeah, zoom in a little bit more for that so I can read it. My name is XYZ. I reside in such and such New York. I've worked for ABC for over 10 years in various technical and administrative positions. Since the acquisition of ABC in 1996, I've observed significant transformation in the nature of the news reporting at the organization. These changes suggest... how would he know since 96 if he's only worked there for 10 years? These changes suggest a shift from unbiased reporting, a model of influence by external factors. For the record, I do not endorse Trump in his capacity as candidate for Trump. The intent of his affidavit is to address concerns regarding perceived biases within the news reporting within my employer's debate that will be hosted on September 10th, 2024. Okay, go to the next one, number 2. Observations of the debate communication. Since the debate of President Trump has announced a broadcast on ABC, various members of the staff have expressed hope of a debate where issues that were important to everyday Americans will be discussed, and that there had been promises that the candidates will be held firm to discussions regarding their proposed policy stances, and that the debate would not deteriorate into an ad campaign, whereas both candidates would simply make blanket statements without specific policy or explanation as to, okay, political position clarification. Many employees at ABC who were looking for fair and honest debate questioned for the clear bias that is well known throughout the company. It is common knowledge that debate moderators, as well as chief executive officer of my employer, are well known not to support Trump. This led to several employees speaking up in regards to how to make a fair debate fair. We were given assurances that the debate would be fair, and neither the Harris nor the Trump campaign would have an unfair advantage. Concerns regarding journalistic integrity. It is my belief that contemporary news organizations, including ABC, no longer adhere to impartiality. The influence of commercial interests and substantial donors appear to affect news presentations, resulting in reporting. Okay, I personally witnessed news stories being cut from programming and not reported at all due to influence of certain corporations linked to our parent company, XYZ.
The Walt Disney Company is what that says.
Observations pertaining to debate fairness. I have noted specific instances related to the debate between Trump and Kamala that raise concerns, and procedural fairness. The specific instances of perceived bias are as follows. Let's go to the next one. Okay. Zoom in a little bit. Rob, the Harris administration received particular accommodations, including but not limited to providing of a podium significantly smaller than the one of Trump, and assurances regarding split-screen television views that would favorably impact Kamala Harris's appearance relative to Donald Trump. It was agreed that Trump would be subjected to fact-checking during the debate, while Kamala Harris would not face comparable scrutiny. This was widely known throughout the company that Donald Trump would be fact-checked. In fact, various people were assigned to fact-check observations it was perceived candidate Trump would make during the debate. In fact, Harris' campaign required assurances that Donald Trump would be fact-checked. This was done via multiple communications with the Harris campaign, whereas the Trump campaign was not included in negotiations. To my understanding, any rule negotiations and conversations pertaining to the debate should have had both Trump and Kamala Harris involved. The Harris campaign had numerous more calls regarding the debate rules, with the Trump campaign aware or on the call. Not aware. Okay, go to the next one, Rob. The Harris campaign was provided with sample questions, while not exact questions, covered similar topics that would appear during the debate. Okay, let's read the next part. Go all the way to the top. Here we go. Furthermore, the Harris campaign imposed restrictions. No questions regarding the perceived health of Joe Biden. No inquiries related to her tenure as Attorney General of San Francisco. No questions concerning her brother-in-law, Tony West, who faced allegations of embezzling billions of dollars in taxpayer funds, who may be involved in her administration if elected.
Whoa.
Tony West. So we got to go Google him afterwards. Internal organization climate. I have observed a pronounced bias against Trump within ABC News. Employees express favorable views towards him, experience significant concerns about the potential retribution. Okay, let's go to the next page, Rob. Purpose of documentation of affidavit. This affidavit is executed to document and provide transparency regarding the issues of fairness and impartiality in the debate process and broader concerns about journalistic integrity at ABC News. And the last page, Rob, if we can go to it to see what he says. Next page. Zoom in, right? The affidavit has been signed and notarized on September 9th, 2000. Oh, so this is it taking place.
Of course.
To ensure that the allegations set forth formally documented prior to. In addition to notarizing this affidavit, I have sent a certified letter to myself, postmarked September 9th, which will remain unopened for any future investigations. Oh, this guy
Smart, Pat. That's so smart.
I have also dispatched a Federal Express package containing this affidavit on September 9th, delivered to my residence on the 10th, which will remain unopened for potential investigative purposes.
With all the FedEx tracking information.
Are you kidding me?
Gangster.
Furthermore, I have sent a certified letter to Speaker Mike Johnson on the night to establish a record that the correspondence was sent before the debate. Additionally, for further investigation, I have secretly recorded several conversations that will prove that the Harris campaign insisted upon not only fact-checking of Donald Trump, but also insisted on what questions were not to be asked under any circumstances, or else the Harris campaign would decline to participate in the debate. And go to the last page, Rob. Holy moly.
Like Pat cheating, right?
No question. I make these statements under the penalty of perjury and without coercion of any kind. New York, I being sworn here.
It's an affidavit saying I'll go to jail.
So let me see what Bill Ackman said. Go to the top. Bill Ackman, very successful businessman. I think he's worth.
Bro, he still debated her. Like, he just knew in his fucking heart. Like, yo, she is so fucking bad, and I'm never gonna get an audience this big all at once. I have to go on national television, and I have to try to explain to these dumbass people who are still voting for her. Like, look, she is, like, by far the worst fucking candidate you could possibly ask for. He knew all this. Go, damn, dude, Trump's a fucking G, dude.
$9 or $10 billion. Let's see what he writes an open letter to Bob Iger, right?
Love it.
Dear Bob, I assume that you have been made aware of this. By the way, Bob Iger's career started off with ABC 42 years ago, just so you know.
Wow, I didn't know that.
He started off with ABC, moved his way up, and then ABC bought Disney. Then he went and started working. So he knows ABC very well.
Gotcha.
Which was made public today, in which a whistleblower states that ABC worked closely with Kamala Harris' campaign in sharing the substance of the questions, avoiding certain made and filed of the allegations. They respond to the allegations. Since they have not yet done so, one must draw negative inference in light by Disney's and the Office of CEO. I strongly encourage you to launch an immediate investigation of this matter. Our democracy demands on transparency, depends on. Wow.
And look a little bit lower, Robbie. He goes right there, Pat, right there.
Come to think of it, I am going to alert the SEC directly about Disney, ABC, and their misleading response to the whistleblower accusations about the presidential debate. Tom, how do you process all of this?
Very well and very poorly. I don't process it poorly. I process this very well, and it really reflects very poorly on the Walt Disney Company and ABC.
Yeah, no shit. Like, for real? Duh. What's this? Tony West, this is the guy who reclaimed $37 billion. Oh my God.
The Department of Justice to reclaim $37 billion from large financial institutions, but it doesn't say anything about a scandal involving him.
Huh.
Yeah. Of course she wants him in the fucking cabinet so he can help her embezzle funds. Look at all the fucking presidents. Like Obama entered office at like 1 million maybe under his belt. All of a sudden he's got like 70 million after leaving office. I mean, like Clinton's, Bush, like they all enter office and they leave with, 20 times the amount they're worth. Trump enters office, lost money. Like, that's how it's supposed to go. Not really, but you see what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't. This is fucking crazy. What else?
Bill Maher's on The View,
That's fucked up.
right? There's a couple clips that we have. I want to first play.
That in the first segment, you used the term woke, and you said that woke is what was sort of ruining everything. And I know that you're.
No, I didn't say ruining everything. I said that's why Trump could get reelected.
That's why Trump could get reelected. Yeah. So the term woke has been, in my view, co-opted by the right and weaponized and bastardized. And so I was surprised to hear you use the term because historically, as you know, because I think you're quite brilliant, that woke is a word used by the black community to note that we must be aware of social injustices.
But words migrate.
Why is that a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing, and originally that was absolutely a great thing. Alert to injustice. Who's not for that? But words do migrate. Now, I'll use any term you want.
Okay.
Because maybe that is a word that's triggering, and so let's not use that word. I don't want to call it.
Reaction. Dan, what are you thinking?
Well, first, everybody gets trapped into this woke trap. I see it now on the left. The left is always like, well, define what woke is, and they try to put these folks on the right in a box. And I say pretty simply, it's basically the idea that this, white male patriarch.
That is a list of the passengers on the Mayflower.
No, I can't believe this.
Own slaves. Play this, please. So,
Any idea what you're looking at? That is a list of the passengers on the Mayflower.
No, I can't believe this. No. My ancestors did not come here on the Mayflower.
Your ancestors came on the Mayflower.
No.
You are descended from one of the 101 people who sailed on the Mayflower.
oof. Yeah, that hurts, huh?
That's a little bit too much to deal with right now.
Did you ever, in your wildest dreams, think that you may have descended from people who laid
Never.
the foundation
Never.
for this country?
Never.
So that means reparations will never go.
Well, because somebody on Twitter said she's an openly Marxist professor at the University of California. She found out, that they're white racist colonizers. She's been teaching against them her entire life. Not that, she's a descendant of a slave owner, so she should owe reparations too. Do you have the video of Sonny Hassan?
Yeah. I'm looking for it right now.
I just sent it to you on a Slack.
I knew Sonny, man, at CNN. We spent time in green rooms. She wasn't always this crazy, but I think the thing about The View, where you're right, what bothers me about The View is not that they're left. Bill Maher's left. He's got a successful show. Sometimes he says crazy shit. Yeah. Sometimes he doesn't. The thing that irks me about The View, I don't get away from the reparations thing, but what irks me about The View is they're just dumb. Yeah. They say dumb things. Joy Behar is really like a clinical moron. Alyssa Farah is like a fake conservative. She's just looking she's just looking for clout or whatever.
Yeah, they need that position.
What am I going to do? Pay myself reparations?
Yeah, exactly.
It's insane.
And Pat, can we see this one? This is a very, very short one.
For it.
This is Sonny Hassan finding out her family owned slaves.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was. My family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Brother, I never saw that. The Davis thing.
Yeah, laugh about it. Real fucking funny, isn't it? Evil ass fucking people, dude. So that happened. Last time I made a video, they muted and they made me mute this section of my video. So I want to see if I can try and get this in again, or if they're going to mute it again. It's just Trump saying he took a bullet for democracy, and that Kamal's the threat to democracy. That's all I did. But they made me mute that section of the video. It's on Rumble. You can actually hear the real video, but that's crazy. If you go look at the YouTube video and then the Rumble video, go to the 18-minute mark, it's muted.
This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere. This is the one that weaponized.
Oh, we got a lot to get to. I got to cut you off because you're making her look too fucking bad.
Understand what it would mean if Donald Trump were back in the White House
for president. This is the one that weaponized, not me. She weaponized. I probably took a bullet to the head because of the things that they say about me. They talk about democracy. I'm a threat to democracy. They're the threat to democracy with a fake Russia investigation that went nowhere.
See, they never once cut her off. Fucking insane, dude. Okay. So real quick, this guy literally, this is what I've been talking about, is you're now voting. It's
I can definitely see. You had a choice to choose the living God standing right in front of you or to choose the enemy. He made it clear. He made it obvious. He stated who he was. He stated what he stood for. And here we are again. And if you look at the policies, then you see who stands for God with their policies. It has become very clear which side is good and which side is evil. You can talk about Trump all you want to, but it's not about Trump. It's about the choice to stand for God's laws or against God's laws. It's
100%. That's literally what it's come down to. What was it, man? There was something else. Gavin Newsom, fucking douchebag. Man, there was something else that was on here that was really fucking important. Elon Musk, do you support me designing a high-tech border wall with drones, inference, sensors, and other advanced capabilities? That's fucking hilarious. Oh, man, where was it? Oh, well. So this is the last one, and then the video's over.
The Detroit Free Press, I'm running USA Today, and the state of Pennsylvania now all telling us that we will not have a presidential winner on election night. I'll answer this one for you. They are conditioning us to get ready for a post-election turmoil in the United States, dare I say a civil war. Just so you understand, the media did this to us in 2020. They laid the groundwork for this election, for the 2020 election as well, telling us not to expect a winner on that evening. I mean, it was stunning. Hold strong. Hold strong. Don't worry about it. Your boy Biden will eventually come out on top. This was the New York Times in 2020. How the media could get the election story wrong. We may not know the results for days, maybe weeks, in 2020. U.S. media call the right winner on election. We need to know about it. America went to bed that night. The polls closed, right? This is bedtime. Polls closed. Americans going to bed. See that there? Closed. Polls are closed. Polls are closed. Reporting in 59% of precincts, 64% of precincts, 83% of precincts, 94% of precincts reporting. Polls closed across America. Look at those numbers. 54%. Michigan, Pennsylvania, 57 to 41%.
57 to 41.
Georgia, 53 to 46%. 54 to 44%. 51. I mean, those numbers are pretty staggering. So America goes to bed.
Like, oh, Kamala's 47%, Trump 48. Margin of error 2.8%. Like, that's all the illegal shit that they plan on doing. That's the crazy part. Those polls are so fucking wrong. Elon Musk took a poll on Twitter of like over 5 million people. It was like 73% Trump. 5 million fucking people. Over 5 million.
Bed, and surprise, surprise, surprise. The clock
wasn't it?
Pennsylvania, Georgia, Michigan, Wisconsin, and then, well, something happened. What happened? Well, as LifeSite News explained in a great analysis piece, overnight on election night, the numbers flipped. Of course, Joe Biden, a candidate who struggled to attract even, modest crowds at that point to his rallies, somehow garnered the most votes in American history. Look at how the liberal USA Today even showed Biden rallies. Notice the date on this, right before Election Day. Look at that. Scenes from Joe Biden's 2020 campaign rallies. That's the photo they chose to lead at a Biden rally. One guy so excited he's a reporter sitting there on a computer. There's like 5 people who are not related to Biden. Look, and then another guy with a laptop is another reporter. Anyway, I mean, he's my hero. 81 million votes. How do you pull that off? It is amazing. You can see the excitement in these voters' faces. The conditions, Jessica, of course. Quote, there will be no clear and immediate winner on election night, says the New York Times, and that early returns could give a false impression of who will ultimately prevail.
You know where this sounds so familiar and sucks.
Remember the New York Times, Time Magazine, CBS News, they're frankly mouthpieces of the deep state CIA. As we've had an FBI whistleblower here on the show explain to us that if they ever want to leak information, fake stories, plant stories into the media, they first go to the New York Times, the Washington Post, Time Magazine also on that list. They just funnel these stories to these liberal magazines and liberal newspapers and get this message out there. That's what they do. So these are just this is all part of an agenda. Time Magazine, why we might not know the winner on election night. Axios, 2020 deja vu all over again. Trump will declare victory the night of November 5th, and the margin won't matter, Axios says. It won't matter whether he's accurate and he's actually won or whether he was defeated soundly. Quote, I think we should absolutely expect the super spreaders of disinformation will parrot the lies about the election in the immediate aftermath. That's what Axios says. And not to be outdone, the state of Pennsylvania, a battleground state, my home state, because it's my home state, because and the fewer electoral votes really don't matter from a swing state perspective. All eyes on Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania publishing this, letting us know Pennsylvania won't always know the final results of all races on election night. Any changes in results that occur as counties continue to count ballots are not evidence that an election is rigged. So Pennsylvania wants to get out in front of this and let you know that Pennsylvania might be too close to call, probably not on election.
They're saying they have a lot of courage. I don't think anybody can say.
Counties raises concerns. So they are warning us in Michigan that we're going to see delays. Warnings for a second. Any political candidate's might can be measured by their opponent's fear of losing to them. If the other side thinks you're going to win, then your campaign is going pretty well. Based on the past 2.5 months, it's clear that Donald Trump's opponents know he's going to win. Why else would they have tried to kill him twice? America hasn't seen anything like this in decades, and even though political violence has become bizarrely common, it's worth taking a step back to acknowledge just how sick the people perpetrating it are. There's a question.
President Biden has been...
He allegedly tried to kill Donald Trump again. And you're here at the podium in the White House briefing room calling him a threat.
President Biden has been clear-eyed about the threat that the former president represents to our democracy.
How many more assassination attempts on Donald Trump until the president and the vice president and you pick a different word to describe Trump other than threat?
Peter, if anything from this administration, I actually completely disagree with the premise of your question, the question that you're asking. It is also incredibly dangerous in the way that you're asking it, because American people are watching. And to say that from an administration who has consistently condemned political violence, from an administration where the president called the former president and was grateful that he was okay, from an administration who has called out January 6th, called out the attack of Paul Pelosi.
Exactly. And suddenly came down with a chemical burns to their eyes. They had to be rushed to the emergency room. What in the world is going on? This was at this Tucson rally just a few days ago. Watch.
Trump's first speech in Tucson this campaign as Election Day nears. Some of his biggest supporters were allowed to sit behind him on stage, supporters like Mayra Rodriguez, a former director of Planned Parenthood with a notable shift to being pro-life. In 2016, she sat behind presidential candidate Hillary Clinton on stage at an event. Now she supports Donald Trump. She enjoyed the rally, but once she left, everything changed.
As soon as we left and I stepped outside, I started feeling like my eyes were burning.
At first, she thought it might be allergies. She lives near Phoenix. By the time she got home, it was so bad she decided to go to the emergency room.
The emergency room staff keeps saying, from the triage nurse to the PA, And are you sure you don't get sprayed anything? Your symptoms look like you were sprayed something.
The News 4 Tucson investigators spoke to her the morning after the rally, Friday last week. That morning, she was nearly blind.
I can't see anything. When I try to open my eyes, it's like a white plot covered. It hurts. It hurts a lot to.
Her initial thought of allergies when seeking medical attention with the same symptoms.
Yeah. Nothing to see here. Just move on. Someone in our chat just said, nothing to see here. Just move on. So you have an assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania that kills a Trump supporter, right? Yeah, collateral damage to them. You have another attempt in Florida. You have this in Tucson almost simultaneously, or a few days actually prior to what happened in Florida. Nothing to see here. Don't worry about it. Sources I've spoken with today tell me that someone dusted this area with a chemical agent, and that if they take environmental samples and compare it to the blood work of the victims, they should be able to isolate it and figure out what it was. Someone in the chat is asking, what do you think it was? What kind of chemical? Was it a chlorine gas attack? This is maybe a possibility, because that chlorine could carry out similar symptoms like this, but we don't know until someone isolates it and figures it out. So there are 47 days left. How many more times will they try to kill Trump? I mean, it seems like they're going for broke.
That's crazy, man. And
the House will vote today on a bill to give the same Secret Service protection.
No, fact of the matter is that he is a threat to democracy.
No, I think we should be clear that he is a threat to democracy.
fucking evil.
South Carolina.
Evil. And there was something about they all voted against the should illegals vote in the election. Where was it? I just fucking saw it. Anyways, yeah, this video is already way too long. You all can look it up. This shit is another yet fucked up week in politics. But alright, I'll catch you all next one, y'all. Stay safe, I guess.